Good afternoon. My name is Reginald, and I would like to inform you of our outdated military society. Since 9/11, 2001, and the kickoff of the global war on terrorism, our military personnel have made some great sacrifices in defending the freedoms of the United States and the democracies of a free world. With all the great things that our military do on a daily basis, you might be shocked to find out that many practices within the military are unjust, illogical, and outdated. Though these are merely opinions, my 18 years of military service, my having served in combat and non-combat units, my having been deployed to the battlefield twice in different countries, different battles, and having served beside the Air Force, Navy, and Marines, might tell you that I have a justifiable opinion. But I'm just here to inform you so that you can form your own opinion. So imagine this. Despite the world having entered 2009, many practices within the military still coincide with the culture that was shown during periods of slavery, or periods within the United States when social status guided the way a person was treated in almost all other aspects of their life. Let me explain to you a little bit about our military. Our military is comprised of three major groups. You have the enlisted personnel, the warrant officers, and the commissioned officers. The Army generally breaks it down into two groups, enlisted personnel and officers. But in doing so, in breaking it down in those two groups, it discriminates against the non-commissioned officers. Because even though non-commissioned officers are enlisted, by saying that officers only are comprised of warrant and commissioned officers, it takes away from the fact that that non-commissioned officer has entered the non-commissioned officer corps by being promoted through the ranks. It also degrades the talents, the contributions, the influence, and the profession of the non-commissioned officer. Those who bear the respect of officers, commissioned and warrant officers, they get treated with the utmost respect from the very first day that they join the Army, even before they've earned the respect. Get treated with respect before they've earned it. What's the logic in that? Consider this: enlisted personnel all across the Army always train their officer personnel, their commissioned officers. But then the commissioned officer, after being trained by the enlisted, is put in charge of the enlisted. Where's the logic in that? A new commissioned officer or warrant officer who just came from the streets of any small town or big city, by virtue of having a 4-year degree, could be sworn into the Army, report to the Army about 3 months later, and is put in charge of a sergeant first class that normally has about 7 to about 29 years of military service. Now, take that a sergeant first class is a senior non-commissioned officer, 2 grades from the top. So a person who knows nothing about the military is put in charge of a senior NCO with 7 to 29 years of military experience. Where's the logic in that? The Sergeant Major of the Army, or the Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps, or the Navy, or Air Force equivalent. These guys work in the Pentagon. They talk to Congress. Routinely, they will even speak to the President of the United States about their Army and Army affairs. Normally have about 32 to 36 years of military service. A brand new commissioned officer right off the street, or a brand new warrant officer, outranks that senior level person who works at the Pentagon level and talks to Congress. Where's the logic in that? Though values and respects in the military are highly advocated, values and respect shown to enlisted personnel are inconsistent with those shown to warrant officers and commissioned officers. Commissioned officers are saluted and greeted with sir or ma'am from the very first day they join the military. Warrant officers are saluted and addressed as Mr. or Miss from the very first day they join the military. But non-commissioned officers, even though they work hard and are a part of almost everything that the Army does, they barely get any respect at all. With respect shown to commissioned and warrant officers, they even get respect before they've made it to certain ranks. To be brief, the Army has in the commissioned officer, it has lieutenants, captains, majors, lieutenant colonels, colonels, brigadier general, major general, lieutenant general, and general. Okay, all that's not important, but imagine this. A lieutenant colonel is called colonel even before he makes the rank of colonel. Even though there's a 6-year disparity in experience and knowledge and a disparity in grade, the Army says it's okay to call a lieutenant colonel, colonel. A brigadier general, 1 star. A major general, 2 star. A lieutenant general, 3 stars. They're all called general, even though there's only one rank that is a general's rank, which is 4 stars. The Army boosted up the officer before he got there. The warrant officer, chief warrant officer, as you were, warrant officer 1, chief warrant officer 2, chief warrant officer 3, 4, and 5. The Army will call the warrant officer, fresh out of school, chief, as a show of camaraderie and respect, even before he's earned the position of chief or the rank of chief. But when the non-commissioned officer makes the rank of staff sergeant, sergeant first class, or master sergeant, he's degraded and suppressed and called sergeant. Part of that suppressive culture. Even on the day that a senior instructor is promoted, their promotion orders will end reading something like this, and is therefore promoted to the rank of master sergeant. And then someone will immediately come back in with suppression and say, okay, let's give Sergeant Williams a hand, even though he was just promoted to master sergeant. They degrade him and say, even though you've been promoted to master sergeant, you're still a sergeant. The bad thing about it is many of our non-commissioned officers don't even recognize that they're being suppressed. It's like a battered wife or a battered kid. That's all they know. The language is the only language they know. The treatment, the respects are the only treatments they know, so they feel like it's just normal, but it's oppressive. It holds them back. Let's consider military pay. With every rank that a commissioned officer earns, his pay increases significantly. But for the non-commissioned officer, his pay increases a little bit at a time. It's not bad. But imagine, at a battalion level, that means when you have 3 companies, a battalion is the size of about 550 people. You have a sergeant major, the senior enlisted, E9, and you have a lieutenant colonel who runs a battalion. If the sergeant major goes to a higher level position and now becomes a brigade sergeant major, responsibilities went from 500 to 1,500. There's no pay increase. Where's the logic in that? And there's also injustice in that. And imagine that when the sergeant major goes from a brigade to a post or an installation where there's 10,000 people, he gets a pay raise of about $225 a month. An additional pay raise of $225 a month, even though his responsibilities increase from 500 to 10,000. Where's the logic in that? A MACOM sergeant major has a responsibility over 140,000 people. So going from 500 people to 140,000 people, the pay increase is only $300. Imagine the logic in that. Anyway, you can see the bias, the unjust, the outdated culture, respecting people before they got there. In conclusion, being socially grouped and treated with respects and courtesies by virtue of a group to which you belong, it highly resembles the eras of slavery, the days of a period when people was actually treated and respected based off the social group they was a part of. Just as there is injustice in being made to show honors and respects to someone before they've earned them, there's also major injustices in not respecting somebody after they've earned those ranks. The staff sergeants, the sergeant first class, and master sergeants still being addressed as sergeants. Decisions to support increasing senior supervisors pay 400%, but only increasing their pay $400 is very unjust. These facts and circumstances that I just showed to you show you that many things stifle the value and culture of our military service. I gave you my opinion, and I gave you some scenarios for you to form your own. Thank you.